Hello everyone, checking back in here on the Big Three. Before I get into it, some people came in and saw one of my videos yesterday, probably the first video they saw, and misinterpreted some of my statements, so I just want to clarify. The losses that I was talking about becoming numb to are over the past 8 years of trading penny stocks, moving on to stocks, moving on to options, and now moving on to the cryptocurrency space where I feel I am very prepared for trading and have absolutely no emotions when I'm going through it. So no, I am not taking tons of losses in the cryptocurrency space. I have a loser every now and again. I come on here and admit when I am wrong, and I think I've done that 2 or 3 times in the past 3 months. So on that loss yesterday, when Bitcoin broke bearish, I was looking for a bullish break of this equilibrium pattern for the upside for a new all-time high. I wanted to position myself to be ready for a new all-time high because I liked the risk to reward of that scenario. The reward was multiple hundreds of dollars, 10% plus, and the risk was less than $100 to the downside. So I like that risk to reward. I exited the trade when the higher low broke, and I made all of my money back and ended the day green yesterday because of this bounce. I played the ETH bounce, and I want to go into the details of it just to show you my trading style, because everybody who's been following me knows that I trade very short term. The average length of my holds are easily under 3 hours. So let's see how I played out with yesterday on this bounce for ETH, and I was looking at the 5-minute time frame to watch for the oversold bounce to begin. I wanted to see the 4-hour RSI oversold. That makes me a lot more comfortable that the bounce is going to be a bit more prolonged. The 4-hour RSI was right at 30 when we were down here at our lows, and I chose to play ETH because looking at this 4-hour time frame, we still had a higher low. Sorry, I'm jumping all over here. We still had this higher low of 186 support. Bitcoin had lost this consolidation support, so I like that as a bit of a safety net. It was a backup. So the 4-hour RSI, it didn't hit 30 now because the candlestick changed, but when the candlestick was at the low of that candlestick, this RSI was right at 30. So using the 5-minute time frame, the indications for the trade entry for me were obviously the big bull move on this bounce and the volume behind it. So we saw 10 minutes of extreme bullish action, breaking the lower high pattern with big bull volume coming in. And we saw a move here from 193 up to 201. That's an $8 move in 10 minutes. I did not get in on this. It happened out of nowhere. It was very quick. I didn't want to chase this move to the upside. So what I do is I say, okay, that's big bull volume. That's a break of the lower high pattern. We're in oversold conditions on a lot of time frames. I'm confident that our low is in for now and we're going to see a bounce. So rather than chase on the way up, I wait for consolidation. And because of all the volatility that was going on, I switched to the 2-minute time frame because I wanted to get more details as to what exactly was going on. So here is what had played out where we saw that big bull move and we went from that 193 level, and actually need to zoom back out. Here it is over here. We went from the 193 level, and 8 minutes we went up $8. So I got in on this consolidation. After switching to the 2-minute time frame, I saw that we had decreasing bear volume. I was looking for a higher low to form, and I made my entry in the 196s and 197s as I scaled in, breaking up my limit orders on the way down, and those filled. So I filled all of my position here. We then saw a move to the upside. Because of the bull volume on this 2-minute time frame, I said, okay, we're not going to break. We are unlikely to break this 201 level on this initial push. I'm going to exit some of my profit and reload because I do believe we're going to form an equilibrium pattern. And everything that I'm highlighting right now in this video, in these short-term trades, I was posting in the chat room in terms of my entries and exits very quickly. As soon as I did them, I would post them. So people were watching me comment on this live, and I was looking for the equilibrium pattern to form with our high, low, lower high, higher low, and we got our bull break. So I exited partial of my position up here at 199.99, which was just under the high here, and I put myself just under that psychological resistance level of 200. So I exited probably a third of my position there, and we did top out and set that lower high. I then re-entered that position in the 196s. So I was able to shave off about $3.50 from a third of my position and rebuy with more ETH. I reinvested all of my profits. So I was fully loaded again, back on this consolidation and then patient, and we got a bull break. And we saw the bull move to the upside. My initial target on the bounce from my initial entry was 205, and that would give me about a $9-10 gain, and that would make back all of the losses of the BTC trade earlier in the day and then some. So that was just a nice conservative level that I was looking for to hit my profit target on the trade. So as we started approaching here, getting up to 203.11 was the high of the next move that we saw to the upside. I scaled out a bit of the position again. And just looking at the 5-minute time frame as to why I chose to exit at that point, and that is because, again, the bull volume on this 5-minute time frame, you can see the first couple of candlesticks, we had increasing bull volume, and we saw the momentum shift. So I'm sitting there staring at the book orders and watching the amount of bull volume that's coming in at the ask and watching the bid support, and I saw things shift a little bit. So I exited some of my position here in the 202s. Same thing, it wasn't all of my position, but I exited and patiently waited for consolidation. We got that consolidation. I was looking for a higher low to form, and I re-entered in the 197, 198 range. So again, shaved off another $3 to $4 and re-added more. And at this point, I had 15 ETH more than I had on my initial entry down in the 196, 197 range. So now I'm fully loaded again, and I'm waiting for continuation. We see the volume get very, very tight here. The volume's dropping off. The range is getting tight. We still have our clear higher low, so I'm comfortable. At this point, I would exit this trade if we broke this higher low that had formed at 197.17. We saw the bulls show back up, increasing bull volume. I exited the rest of my position in the 207s, and at that point had made back all of the losses and was profitable on the day, and then exited. From there, I tried one more trade after we consolidated significantly. I had bids placed at 210 and 201.10, trying to catch this move to the downside, and it dumped very quickly. Literally right after I put my bids in, we flushed, and it was a very quick dump, and we bounced pretty decently. We had a $4 bounce there. I thought I would give myself the opportunity to see if we would get continuation to get back in on a cheaper reload. We did not. I exited some of my position literally at the high of this bounce of 203.99. It was my order that was filling at the top there. Only exited partial, and then as we started to come back down here, we started to see another tightening range, volume dropping off, and then this candlestick right here didn't like that action and exited all of my position and ended up pretty much break even right there, thanks in part to some of my little bit of my profit being filled up at the top of that bounce. So I call that a break even, and that was the signal for me, okay, we're done with this trade. You got what you wanted. That's your, ended up being about a $12 gain on ETH position, and that was that. So that was the end of my day, and I didn't even try to do anything else after that because, again, very happy with the way that the day went, happy that I recovered those losses, and from here, we now have very clear patterns setting up. So it's, actually we're making a bearish break as I'm speaking here, but it's almost a descending triangle pattern with a horizontal base of support and a lower high. But you can also call it an equilibrium, or what I call it, where we have our low, high of the bounce, which is still a lower high. We've got our higher low, lower high, and we know not to believe this lower high because look at the volume behind it. There's no bull volume there. So lower high, now we're looking to see if the bulls can form a higher low compared to 193.40. That's a support that must hold. If we break that level, we're going to see another leg to the downside, and we're going to be looking at that 186 support that was that backup safety net on my original position. So here the RSI on the 4-hour time frame has cooled off a bit, but if we drop down to the 186 level, we're going to be in the low 30s again. So I will be watching to see how we react to 186 support, but if that breaks, I'm going to be patient again and wait for the 4-hour RSI to get oversold. Checking back in on the hourly RSI, not oversold. So I'm not really liking any entries at this point. I would like entries on another flush to the downside. And again, I don't short. If you, by all means, short if you have the ability to. I do not trust these other exchanges where I would have the ability to short. I'm on GDAX. I like how my GDAX USD is insured. I feel a lot more comfortable like that. And I don't want to put my money on Polo or another site like that. The significant amount of money would make me very nervous. And I am missing opportunities to the downside. There are some very easy shorts here. Yesterday was one of them. But again, this is the most profitable trading year that I'm ever going to have in 8 years of trading. And everything's going fine for me. I'm playing the bounces well. I'm very happy with the way I'm trading, so I'm not needing more. I'm not out constantly looking for more. I need to be able to short. I need to be able to do this. It's working for me, so I'm going to keep doing it. Other people have swing strategies. Other people have short strategies. If it's working for you, go for it. There's nothing that's better than the other in terms of, percentage gains. I'm sure we're all seeing really nice gains with our trading strategies. So there are absolutely short opportunities, and if we see a bearish break of this pattern, it's a short entry opportunity. If we break 193.40, that's a potential entry, or if you want to be a bit more cautious, you wait for the break of 193. So bears are in control right now, but it looks like the bulls are going to make an attempt to stay in this tightening pattern. It's a bit of a different view on Bitcoin, where Bitcoin, and there's the dump right now while I'm talking. So it was already a lower high and a lower low. We broke that support that ETH is still holding, and now we have another lower low to the downside. So this bearish break and the correlation to ETH makes it more likely that we are going to see an ETH bear break here. So same thing, the next support on Bitcoin is down at 2217, and the 4-hour RSI will likely be approaching oversold if we continue to see downside there. But as of right now, because of that bounce yesterday, it cooled off these hourly RSIs enough that we can see the shorter term RSIs, I should say, the hourly and the 4-hour, that we could easily see another leg to the downside here play out all afternoon and evening. So if you are bearish, you're in control, you're in the driver's seat. If you are trying to play bullish, you're waiting very patiently for oversold conditions, ideally volume climaxes. When you get a flush, a powerful flush to the downside, that's when you see the really quick bounces take place, and that's when you can make really nice profit in less than an hour of trading, holding your position, getting those nice entries, and then exiting for that quick profit. So bears in control of the space still, and looking at the daily time frame on Bitcoin here, we are seeing a significant pullback from the equilibrium pattern bear break. I will expect to form a higher low compared to the low we are coming from. We're just patiently waiting for that new higher low to be found. Litecoin is still doing its own thing, but still watching this bearish reversal head and shoulders pattern that we highlighted a couple days ago, and it is following through a lot more significantly now with the last 2 red days. So there's 2 ways that you can be playing this, and really the way that I would be playing it if I were looking for a bearish entry would be a loss of this support line right here. And this support line, I would use 38 psychological as that level, and not just a dip below it. I want to see a candlestick close below it on a more significant time frame here, at least the hourly time frame at a bare minimum, but ideally the daily and the 4-hour. So this would potentially break the higher low pattern, and key support is 34.78 after this 38 psychological. So bears are close to changing this trend here. We've been saying how Litecoin has been the strongest of these names because we're still in a clear uptrend on the daily. That is in jeopardy now, and if this break occurs, Litecoin's going to be a really nice short as well. RSI levels are not nearly as oversold. We look at the hourly time frame, we can see a similar pattern of lower highs and a horizontal base of support. Has not broken bearish yet. You could put a support line right there and watch to see if the bulls are able to hold it. Unlikely they will because Bitcoin just broke. And looking at the 4-hour time frame to get the RSI here, we can see that we're not oversold. So the next support, looking at the shorter term time frames, 39.68, then we're looking at 38, and then we're looking at 34.78. So there is a lot of space to the downside after 38 support on Litecoin, depending on the RSI levels. Personally, I do not make bearish entries when I'm playing stocks and playing options. I do not make bearish entries if the RSI levels are already oversold. It's just a rule of thumb that I stick by. I try not to chase and make bullish entries when the RSI is in the mid to upper 70s. And the same thing with bearish entries. If we're under 30 RSI, I know a short-term bounce is coming in the near-term future, and I will hold off on that. So if we break 38 and we're not too oversold at that point, that's a really nice bearish entry. So again, bears are in full control of this space right now, and my strategy is short-term trading, day trading, quick flipping. It is potentially more difficult, but my job right now is teaching people technical analysis. I'm on the computer all day. I'm covering the stock market. I'm live broadcasting 2.5 hours a day. So I'm here and I'm sitting here and I'm watching it. So I might as well be, trading to the best of my ability and taking advantage of these short-term moves. If you are working full-time, or if you don't want to be sitting there staring at your computer, absolutely. Use a longer-term swing trading strategy, and you can definitely benefit from that, and you don't have to be subject to all of these quick moves. If you are doing a swing trading strategy, you're focusing on the daily and the weekly time frame, maybe the 4-hour chart, but anything under the 4-hour chart really is just giving you some minor details that might make you change your game plan. I would suggest sticking to the longer-term time frames if you are swing trading, sticking to the shorter-term time frames if you are day trading. There's no right or wrong way to do this. If it's working for you, keep doing it. So I appreciate you watching. We'll keep checking back in here. I'll look to do an altcoin video this weekend, still pumping away on that course and looking to have that out towards the end of August. So I appreciate everybody watching, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.